He just got dropped. Domination from start to finish.
So much character, so much heart from these two fighters.
Oh my God! He's done! He's done! Wow! Big shot! And there's the upset win!
I'm Jimmy Smith, and welcome to Bellator 360 Road to the Championships. Season 8 has been full of major upsets, highlight reel knockouts, and unbelievable finishes. Tonight, we will look at our 5 tournament finals and the fighters who have earned their right to battle for $100,000 and a shot at the world title. Let's kick things off by taking a look at the lightweight bracket. Brought to you by Olympus Has Fallen in theaters March 22nd. David Rickles in the quarterfinals defeated Lloyd Woodard by decision. In the semis, did the same thing to Jason Fisher, winning by unanimous decision. Syed Awad in the quarterfinals knocked out Guillaume De Lorenzi in under a minute and did the same to Will Brooks in the semifinals.
But it's Awad coming out, charging, letting go his huge shot. This is done. More big shots, and it is done.
His total time in the cage, 74 seconds. Earning their way to the tournament championship, Syed Awad and David the Caveman Rickles. All right, and our first guest of the evening, Bellator lightweight world champion, Michael Chandler.
Oh, dropped him again! Right hand. No, that's a great performance. Chandler just unloaded.
And he stands atop the Bellator lightweight division as the world champion.
Michael, thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me.
And from the set of Bellator's reality show, Fight Master, Coach Joe Warren, the baddest man on the planet. How's it going on Fight Master, Coach?
Great. Thanks for having me on 360. I'm here out at the set of Fight Master, having a great time with some of the best fighters and coaches in the world.
Let's start with David the Caveman Rickles. You said Lloyd Cupcake Woodard was one of the toughest fighters you ever faced. David Rickles able to grind him down, a 15-minute decision. What'd you think of that fight?
Absolutely, man. That says a lot about Dave Rickles. When you're able to grind out a grinder like Lloyd Woodard, not a ton of power in his hands, but enough to wear you down, take you down, and really grind out some tough decisions.
Joe, you've made a career on those kind of fights, going the distance, breaking guys' wills. Is that what you see in David Rickles? Do you see a similar kind of fighter to yourself?
Yeah, I see David Rickles nonstop, constant pressure forward. I see that's what that fight is going to probably end up as, a grind out, like you said, or one period at a time win.
His opponent, Syed Awad, can put you down with one punch. He's had 2 fights, both of them added up to 74 seconds. Joe Warren, is it more nerve-wracking facing a guy like that who can put you out at any time, or a grinder like David Rickles? Talk about Syed Awad a little bit.
We haven't seen him in the cage much. You know, he keeps landing that right hand and people are going to sleep. I believe if you can catch him early and maybe put some cobwebs in his head a little bit, then maybe you have a better finish. But I bet you it's going to be a grind-out finish.
Now, here's the thing for me. Syed Awad, like I said, can put guys out. He's a finisher. Does it worry you taking on a guy who has gone the distance every time, or a guy who's had short fights that were fast? You don't know everything he has. Michael, is it harder taking on one than the other? Tell me about it.
The scariest thing for a guy who puts people out quick is the kind of guy who doesn't get knocked out very easily, and he can't get grinded out by a guy like Dave Rickles. So, if I'm Syed Awad, I'm definitely working on my cardio, and, if I'm Dave Rickles, work on that head movement, so we'll see.
Of course, Joe, you've been through a Bellator tournament before. The fact that David Rickles has had 2 decision wins, he's gone a half hour in 2 fights, will that affect him in the finals? What do you think?
Rickles is a grinder, man. He's ready for those 15-minute fights. Awad is a one-punch knockout guy right now. We don't know much about him on the ground. I believe that it's going to end up being a grind-out fight, and I think Awad's going to have a real hard time getting through that.
Now it's time for the segment of the show that all the fighters seem to remember, the Pro Picks. Brought to you by Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. Let's start with the champ, Michael Chandler. You're a grinder. Tell me who you think's going to win this fight and fight you for the title.
Yeah, I think Syed Awad definitely has that puncher's chance, but the smart money's on Dave Rickles. If he doesn't get knocked out, he's going to grind this fight out. 3 rounds, unanimous decision.
Joe, what do you think of this fight?
I think Dave Rickles, he's a grinder. I got to love that guy. It's part of my heart here. There's always a puncher's chance, so if Awad maybe has a wad of quarters in his hand and can knock him out with it, that might be the only chance he has. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Rickles, a caveman's coming out with his hand up like this when this is done.
Well, I'm going against both of you. I'm picking Syed Awad for two reasons. He's had 2 fast fights, he's physically in good shape, and he's emotionally focused. That's something I've noticed about him. I think that's important. Thank you so much for joining us, Mike. Appreciate it every time. Joe, can you stick around with us?
Yeah, I can stick around. I'm in my favorite spot in the middle of the Bellator cage.
All right, we'll come back with the welterweights, joined by welterweight tournament finalist Ben Killa B. Saunders. Stay tuned.